shall we call this meeting to order and
Just a sec. You're good. Had to let us start streaming.
rise and let's do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Good to see you guys. Thanks. You mind, I won't be here long, but I had to come in and say hello and listen. I'm so intrigued. As long as the city of Laporte gets all the money, I'm happy.
Well, Skylar's there he's got one vote to say no.
Skylar called me and said, hey, whatever you need, so I'm glad.
There's an agenda. You can have two of them if you want. As I mentioned, the county has a council meeting or something like that they kind of last minute pulled. They wanted them both there, but Mitch was gonna try to get Jay out of it so he could come here, but obviously that didn't happen, so. Meeting minutes of January 25th. Are there any questions? Any changes?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got a Laporte vote.
And actually, you only get one vote, so, I mean, you know, motion approved and second. That's it. Next one is number 3, public comment. There's no public here to give comments, so we'll skip that. Number 4 is the spending plan. And normally I would put it up on the screen, but technology has said otherwise.
Printed on the 8 sheets of paper.
At least you didn't do it for Lake and Porter, or did you?
Yeah, there's 2. That's the 12 sheets I have in my notes.
See, and you wonder why you have no money.
He's giving it to every.
Well, he's spending on paper.
Well, but we saved on not buying a new plotter and just used literally 17.
I tried that
I
once.
love this team. I really do. They are a good group.
You know, once I
love
did-
Skylar in Michigan City.
I did print it off on the plotter one time, and it was, remember that? It was like the size of this table. And you still couldn't read it, because it was like,
I think we did that, didn't we, Greg?
We did,
Plotted it
yeah,
out.
and it was so small, you
It's
couldn't
so
really
small,
read, you had to have a magnifying glass to read it.
so, I'm assuming that Jesse Trail 2, you want to complete.
Yes.
So we need to find a way to fund it in 2023.
Back up. So what's available with the federal holdover for the September letting?
$318,000.
318?
Yeah.
Okay. So
We could probably stretch that to 318,700, but that's taking away all change orders.
okay.
So,
we won't have
we'll keep it at 318 because I'm probably gonna need more, we are probably gonna need more money
Okay.
for the bids that come in over.
Okay.
That
We-
helps.
Yeah, we've got, there's like a section of sidewalk on F Street, I'll pull that out, cause our current estimate was 361 federal. But I can get that down below the 318, that's not a problem.
That's what we have left.
Yeah,
But we can still do that.
But,
yeah. Just the-
but that doesn't
I'm
include
sorry.
the 1.5 for
It's good
Chesapeake.
we talk through stuff here.
So if we put, you said, what did you say, it was 1.8? was the bid?
The bid came in at 1.8.
So that means the bid's gonna be, the new bid's gonna be 1.9, because things don't always,
Well, we're gonna look at a little bit of value engineering. We have all the bid prices. We have a bid tabulation.
so if we go 1.8, that's 1.4, 1,440,000 is 80%. That's what we've gotta come up with, right?
Yep. I think railroad is the first 400, right? The Chelsea Railroad stuff.
So, yeah, it's 330, so we take that out.
Yep.
And how are we crossing the railroad tracks in? Later project?
Later project, yeah. So can we keep that in FY 25? We already started coordination, like I said, it's just with Norfolk Southern. They tell you it's not gonna take long and then ghost you.
Skylar wouldn't know anything about railroads ghosting here, would you?
No, I'm sure.
Nothing about
Amtrak.
CSX, Amtrak, a little South Shore for a minute, but that's all good now.
I'll tentatively move it, but I've got some errors in 25 and 26.
Okay.
So,
So that was what, 3 what?
330.
And you're thinking 25 to 26? 25.
25 FY.
So that takes it down to 1.1, which is where it needs to be, right?
I don't know. He hasn't given us the magic.
So,
Oh.
the magic, now, we're now over by 800,000. So, Skylar,
Yep. I need some money for Liberty.
In 23 or 20?
Oh, when's our construction, 24, I believe, 2024? Cause I
Okay.
believe that project, we have 666,000.
before we go there,
Yeah.
we're talking 2023. Ohio Street
Yep.
has $230,000 for PE.
I don't
And
see.
Barker Avenue has 90,000 for PE.
Yes. Yeah. I see one.
Yeah.
So Ohio Street,
21.
Ohio Street, the massive,
This is streets.
the massive reconstruction
No,
project.
yeah, Ohio Street was, yeah.
We were running,
From 20 north to
yeah, it was from 20 to like, Earl,
Tracks
maybe?
That was 12 million.
for Earl.
I think Earl, another mile, it was a mile,
It was a huge project that somehow they talked us into just getting PE for.
With no way to fund it.
That was-
Correct.
That was structure point, right?
Yeah, you're correct. There was really no mechanism to fund it, like, is it another bond? I don't foresee in the near future us reconstructing that road.
You want to eliminate these projects?
As of right now, considering I don't have a city engineer, yeah, that's what I'd like to do. Can we put it back on the table? If we eliminate it,
You
we
put it
have
to an unfunded year.
correct.
I can move it out. You want me to move PE out to an unfunded year? Actually, we'll just eliminate, you can, because you'd have to apply for it again.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, yeah, I got that. I just don't see us completing that project. I mean,
What about Barker Avenue?
Barker, we just repaved Barker to completely redid the whole street. So, I don't, yeah, I don't know why we didn't, you know.
Was it complete streets?
No, they just paved it.
CCMG. I think we use CCMG.
I mean, that's what I
I think we use CCMG.
mean crossings.
Yeah, we just paved the whole thing from Ohio
So
to
this,
the-
yeah, this was a This was a pavement reconstruction.
I think we
That's-
we literally just resurfaced and we put new sidewalks in. So we didn't even touch that one.
Well, that money's not used then.
I let the city engineer know at the time and, yeah.
And you guys already turned back Woodland and Pleasant, right?
So now we are at 471 that's needed.
Without Barker or without?
That's taking Barker and Ohio out.
Like I said, right now, I'm only holding on to kind of the Liberty Trail because I think that's a really important project. And it's the only one I can really manage at this point in time, without a city engineer or anyone else. So.
That's the bike?
Yeah.
Bike lane?
Yeah, complete street.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, I can't remember what the number is, what Jake told me, but.
Is the county still doing construction for Singing Sands in
Yes.
FY '23?
Yes. And they have Carissa funds on there too. So. And then they were given $232,000 for extra PE on Lincoln Trail.
Okay. So Singing Sands is kind of the other big one in FY '23.
Where's that at?
So what we have left are sidewalks. Reconstruct sidewalks. There's 217,000.
Okay.
Paving, 400,000.
We're gonna combine those anyway, so if there's anything, honestly, what we'll do is we'll hold off on those in case there's change orders with the two big trail projects, I would think. Would that be better?
Well, let's just, this trail has to go before September.
It's on an August letter.
Right. If it goes after September 15th or September 25th, and the letting says September 14th. If it goes after that, we don't have the money to do this project.
Okay. Yeah, so it's.
Because all the IIJ funds from 22, they allowed us to carry them over to 23, but they expire on September 25th.
So we have to rebid
The chassis, yes.
two,
Yeah,
because it was that much over,
it was over 15% over.
so it has to be rebid.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that will not.
That's why it's August letting, right?
But that still gets us within the time frame.
It does, barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just gotta make sure that who's ever designing it takes a real close look at the engineer's estimate
Mhm.
and maybe even pads it. I was talking to someone this morning and they said that Mob and Demo was 18% on the project, on the Hammond project.
So Move and Demo was 3 times on Reeve Riley's, no, sorry. It was twice on Milestone and 3 times on Reeve Riley's, over the estimate, engineer's estimate. We know why.
Yeah, that's a risk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where they're covering all their risks.
Well, and because it's a new alignment, the concrete removals and things like that are incidental to other work. And, I think they've rolled all of that into those numbers. Normally, you wanna see it in the concrete items, but that's.
So there's 217 and then 400 for the sidewalks and for the paving of miscellaneous streets or various streets, I should say. 263,000 for PE and right-of-way for Park Street. And then there's $300,000 in, EVPs.
Now, we got our PE in FY '22. We got it in just in time, so the remainder of PE for Park Street is FY '22. I'll look at I'll get an estimate. I don't think we're gonna need that much for right of way. There aren't any total takes, it's pretty small.
Is this for just the pavement reconstruction
Well,
or?
if we pull the roundabout out as a separate DES, then it won't matter at all, there's no right of way.
Okay. Cause we have to pull the roundabout out.
Okay,
It's just,
okay.
it's too big of a,
We've already paid for engineering and everything on it, so I think as long as we can keep it in a similar schedule, I'm fine with that.
okay. Yeah, I don't see a problem. Although, I mean, what's this in 25?
Yeah,
So. And we only have 860 is the estimate I have for that angle, but we can discuss that
yeah,
later.
yeah. Now, I guess since we've already incurred a lot of the cost for, like environmental document and all that, cause I think our environmental document
For
for.
the roundabout?
Yeah,
So that fee is gonna be a lot, hardly anything.
yeah. One, and can we add it to the same contract? Are we gonna have to submit a separate?
No, you
NEPA?
can find DES numbers on the same construction contract.
Yeah, okay. Well, even our NEPA document could have multiple DES numbers.
Yeah, you just have to,
get
you
it.
probably have to do an AI,
Yeah, okay,
or your consultant, or whoever's,
Yeah.
I mean, an AI is 2 pages, I think.
yeah. Okay. And, well, we'll get to when we're gonna do NOFA, but that needs to go through the 2022 NOFA, then we'll just get it programmed assuming.
Well, we can put it through, yeah, we can either put it through the 22 NOFA or, yeah, I would say let's go through the 22 NOFA because you don't have anything now. So, which means the next time we get together would be August, it's coming out in September, so
Nope, it's coming out in September, due in November,
we'll be doing
or
October.
due in October.
Yeah, it's the same schedule we've always had, I just updated the days of the week. So, come out beginning, I think, September, mid-September, and then it'll be out for 30 days. And then we'll look at them, and if there's any issues, we'll get back with you.
So my goal would be, the roundabout and street all be done when the bridge opens, which will be probably summer '26 or fall '26. So I think that's, since we already have stage 1 submittal, we'll just have to do the revisions with the new DES number. I don't know that that'll be a big issue.
That shouldn't be. So you wanna let those in 25 or 26?
I'd rather FY '25. So like, probably February letting,
Well, let's try to get in front of February.
January letting, December letting.
There you
December
go.
letting.
No, I mean, cause we run into these issues where,
Yeah,
and I think come 25, things are gonna start letting up because double track can be done. Nikki's gonna be done or double track and Westlake are gonna be done. So there's gonna be an abundance of labor. And that'll take a strain off from all the other materials and stuff for this area. I mean, asphalt's asphalt. They don't need much asphalt, but they're taking a lot of copper, they're taking a lot of pipe, they're taking a lot of,
yeah. No, I mean, Chessie, our last estimate was lower than we anticipated. But the project came in 50% more. It's just crazy
Well, we're obviously not the only ones in this boat, so.
no, I think
Across-
over half
across
of
the
the
board.
projects in that letting.
yeah, someone said that, what was it, no projects, it was like April, like no projects were awarded. Like statewide or something like that.
In there, so part of the problem is
Because
cost
they're,
estimating is based
Over
on previous
15%.
years.
because
And
every
it-
one of them was over 15% over.
But they were estimated the years before, and now.
Because they have such strict rules with regards to having to rebid.
And you're saying that's statewide?
Yeah,
Wow.
well, it's nationwide.
But I mean, the statewide, nothing was
Yeah.
left because they were all 15 points over.
That's my understanding, it might have been just the district or something, but it's,
It's actually not surprising, but
I wonder if they're gonna have to ease up on that now, given, well, they probably won't.
well, I'll tell you what, there's other ways you can pad it by increasing your mob and demob. You can't do anything about the price of asphalt, it is what it is. You can't do anything about the price of pipe or,
They actually let us keep a contingency in if it was still over,
And it's, yeah,
so,
which was not normal, but that was appreciated that they let us try.
so anyway, we gotta come up with $470,000. And I'm keeping that 46,000 for change orders, I'm keeping that in there for cost overruns, or for not for cost overruns, but for, the bids coming in high.
So with moving Chessie Railroad to a later year, Barker, Ohio, and then part of a combination of the various streets and sidewalks, we're there.
Yeah, it just basically comes down to, I mean, we don't need everything for park. And then how much do you wanna cut out for various streets and various sidewalks?
I'd rather, since we're gonna break park out and not probably get right away done until 2024 for 2025 letting,
Okay.
I'd rather, take it out of park first.
So, you
And
want me
then
to eliminate
sidewalks.
all the funds for park?
Yeah,
all right, I just gotta ask, I hear cut out and
We'll put part
eliminate.
back in the NOFA.
park's already, no, we have 2022 money to do the remainder of PE. So we've got, basically we'll get through design, we'll have it all done. We'll put the roundabout portion of Park Street in the NOFA. And then we'll have two separate DES numbers for the same project. The PE's already kind of going on, so we'll have a
Park Street.
small we'll have a small PE contract to basically incorporate the roundabout, which is already designed, into the other DES the existing DES number. And then we'll award them both in hopefully 2025.
Now, the nice thing is, you've already got funds, you've already got a PO. So, you can expend all the money plus your own, and I can give you money at the end of the year, and it can go back and pay for funds that you've already expended.
Okay, good.
So,
So we're splitting up the 688.
that's the nice thing about PE and right-of-way. You've already got a PO, we can add more money later on and get you back whole if that's needed.
So may I ask, what does that mean to Park Street?
Nothing. We were moving it to 2025 anyway, to keep it in line with the overpass construction. So it just means that we'll go through the NOFA process, and ideally we have consensus that it's a good project. And then we'll have 2 different DES numbers for the same project. One of the DES numbers will be an intersection improvement, which we may actually we might be able to try and put in for HSIP on that then, depending on accidents.
If you have crash data.
Yeah.
But we're not extending the,
We're not changing the timeline on it, other than we've already changed it to 2025, again, to keep in line with local traffic.
So-
Tracks project.
Worst case scenario is you may not get 80% for your PE for design for both the Park Street projects, the intersection and the pavement.
and if we don't get 80%, where do we get it?
So we already have all of that design covered in our current contract, but because it'll be a separate DES number, there'll be work to integrate the separate DES number into the same contract. So it's kind of like, there'll be additional work necessary, but it won't be the, 200,000 or whatever for.
And there might be something unknown that they
Yeah.
discover.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, you stick a shovel in the ground and you find
Nothing there.
or you find that there's a
No gas main.
there's a gas tank there.
So there's very little risk from a timing standpoint.
Yeah, schedule is not at risk. Like I said, worst case is, and you know what, I could come back next year and give you money to cover your PE. You just might have to
Yeah.
float it for a few more months. And next year we have $300,000 still, right? So, taking that out, we're $200,000. $208,000.
So that's what we have to value engineer.
Well, let's just throw sidewalks in there too for now.
How much?
I mean, cause that's not getting rid of our paving though. Our FY23 paving.
And that puts us in black then.
Okay.
It gives us $8,800.
Okay. But we keep our paving, we'll get checks done.
And you might even be able to do some of the sidewalks on the roads that you're paving.
Yeah, the separating out sidewalks and paving hasn't been working for us, cause we do as many sidewalks when we pave a better place now anyway. Cause there's so much work to get a single ramp done, you might as well do as much of the sidewalk as possible.
Right.
Where is that sidewalks?
That was on
Right? It's
Complete
the-
Streets.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in complete streets. Oh, there it is. I see it now. Construct sidewalks, various locations. So we're talking about the 217?
Yeah,
That also keeps preemption in FY23, right?
preemption, yeah, that is still 100%.
Okay.
We have, and I'm paying for 67,000 of that, is at 100%. So, you gave me an estimate of 319, and I'm paying 100% or the first $67,000 right off the top. And then 90% of everything else.
That's a good one to end on. I got my park in here meeting, so I'm heading in there. You guys are a well-oiled machine.
So yeah, 319, we're gonna pay for 394.
Keep up the good work. Thank you for all you guys do to help us.
Thanks.
Yes.
See you, Mayor.
See you Thursday.
So you think you'll be able to get that done? Sidewalks?
It's, we'll choose a paving project that we can get sidewalks on anyway, so we already have a lot of the historical done, the last 4 blocks of Jefferson. And then we've got some other areas, probably the triangle, that we can do a combination, so the next block of Jefferson after the triangle, like those areas need both paving and sidewalks, so we'll scope it to fit
In that area?
further, closer in.
Closer in.
So there's $250,000 in '24 for paving,
There's how much?
$250,000 for paving.
In 24,
Yeah, and then there's $100,000 for sidewalks in '24. And Skylar, we're keeping your Liberty Trail at $500,000 in '24.
Okay.
496 is what I have federal. And that's for how many, one phase?
It's phase 1. So we broke it into, I think, 2 or 3 different phases, because the issue is the railroad tracks. And once you get to the railroad tracks, you're crossing 3 sets of tracks. It's kind of cumbersome. And then the road is at the angle. The angle isn't right. It should be raised, but I don't know if we can get around to that. So basically, we're cutting short of the railroad tracks. That's the full project. It's
Okay.
from Washington half of Washington Park Boulevard to the railroad tracks, essentially. That's what we're going to try to complete with this project. But I think we still are looking for construction money for it, because I think there is some.
Well, that's what I have for construction money is $620,000.
Okay.
I mean, I can make that 80%. There's money in there in '24 to make it 80%. I should do that.
This is prorated.
Yeah.
No, that is 80%.
I was gonna say.
That shows that's at 80.
they have,
We have hired we did hire Butler Firm Cypher outside of the contract to basically get us to that point.
Okay.
Design it, and then run the construction.
Right. Yeah. So that takes care of 23, and that leaves, we have 284,000, I think, in 24. But I do need to get, for any projects you got going up this year, I do need a good, probably as best as you can get, construction estimate. So, with things going on, we don't want any surprises like
I mean, FY
23.
projects.
And if you got something updated, we can update in 24. If you're letting in Q1 of 24, I would appreciate that. Okay, Skylar, what's going on with, the Amtrak crossing?
I'll be honest, I don't know. Shannon would be the person to know the most about that. What I think, I can tell you what I think it is. I think it's stalled with them. I think conversations have stalled. I don't know that those have been started back up, but I can ask Shannon that question. She just got back from medical leave.
Yeah, she said she was coming back on the 17th.
Yeah, she's back today. So I've been trying not to bother because I know she's super busy. Well, a lot of things stacked up while she was gone.
So, and you guys, she's gonna be there on Thursday?
I can see if she can be, yeah. I haven't asked her. I've been trying to leave her alone until she got back, but I'll make sure.
And then you're gonna be ERC certified?
Tomorrow. I'm doing it
Okay.
tomorrow. I scheduled it out tomorrow, absolutely.
Okay, do we wanna vote on this, or the changes we made? I'll send this out, I'll send this spreadsheet out.
I do have a question in my area, is that gonna be totally separate, or,
Ask now,
okay.
before we write everything in pen.
Most of my,
We're getting you 6 pluses, by the way.
okay,
Is that what you're
here's,
asking about?
no, well, my concern is, last time I talked with Lisa, cause we've got the 3 on order from last year that we have yet to get in.
Right.
And that money's already been earmarked. Anything going forward, we've been told that there's gonna be a 30 to a 50% price increase. Whereas when we were pricing out all of our buses, I think we did a 20% increase for, at least I know
Do
when we were
you have a
doing,
price, do you have a price per bus?
for the ones that we're paying for now, it's a little over 99,000.
Cause that's what I have set aside, is $100,000 per bus.
Okay,
Now, I just talked with Talea, that's why I was late,
okay.
about you.
Oh,
So, I think you got 6 buses coming?
I've got 3 on order.
Total. You need 6 buses?
Not right at this
not
moment,
now,
but eventually it will come 26, or FY 25 and 26, my whole stock will end up being replaced. But,
Okay. What I'm going is, the leftover money from 22, I have until mid-June to flex that over to transit. So I'm gonna
June of
get,
this year, or June of next year?
I have until mid-June to flex over any extra highway funds to transit. So, the chassis that didn't go, so that's extra money, so most of that I think is going to you to buy those other buses.
Okay,
And any inflation on those buses.
okay,
So Talea told me she was gonna give me a number. The number that I have, which is preliminary, is $426,080. And I think I gave her like 192 last year. So, but Leah's gonna verify those numbers and get back to me so that you can get those buses.
okay.
And 6 buses, I think, what she told me.
Probably total, because I have 7 in my fleet as it is, and we've got 3 on order already that just,
Right.
nothing's been done on them yet. They haven't even been in production yet because they can't get, Ford isn't making chassis, so, or then they can't get chips and stuff. So they've been on order for over a year now. I should have had them by now.
So the question is that money gonna expire before you get your?
I know, that's the problem, because one of them is supposed to be paid with my CARES Act money. It was supposed to be 100%. So, and Lisa hasn't put that fear in me yet. We're trying to see if we can find another manufacturer. I just didn't know with the numbers that we have for 25 and 26, when we were working it out last year, we'd only did a 20% increase, and now she's talking the price could be up to 50%. And I didn't know if we needed to adjust our numbers before, or if we just are gonna wait it out and see.
We're gonna adjust numbers now,
Okay,
So, we're gonna adjust the numbers now.
okay.
And actually, you buy your buses with, I flex that money over anyway for you. So, you buy your buses with highway funds,
Right,
so.
okay. I just didn't want somebody to be surprised that,
Well, we'll be surprised when the prices come out, but we know it's coming.
okay.
So any objections to the changes we made? Skylar? Okay. I'll take that as a pass unanimously.
Yeah.
I'll take a-
I motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. And I will send a spreadsheet out as quickly as I can.
So we officially got rid of Barker, Ohio, shifted that money over?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
To them. Moving on, the NOFA update, someone from Laporte's calling. There isn't really an update on the NOFA. I was hoping to have some in there, but I've been busy working on the Marquette Greenway, and I've been working on, well, a little bit of everything, mainly Marquette Greenway. It is gonna be this fall. There is another category, which you probably noticed on there if you printed that off, and I'll explain it in a moment. Other new business, NDOT, I saw an email this morning, and I'm hesitant about sharing this because I've bet on this horse before and I've lost. NDOT said they are on track for STIP approval for June 10th. Don't write that down.
I got a pencil, you want a pencil?
Right, pencil.
This is the same email that came out and said they're on track for December approval. January, February, March, yeah. And therefore the TIP approval, so. Safe Streets for All, I was gonna give a presentation, but then I realized I gave the presentation in January. There is a grant program that's coming up. It's gonna be in May. If
Safe Streets,
Safe Streets for All,
what is that? Is that a new program?
it's, if you look at IIJA, there was a bunch of other programs in there that I was kinda curious where they were gonna come with the funding or how this was gonna fit into the pots, like EV charging and stuff like that. So I think what they're going toward, Federal Highway's going toward, is a competitive grant process.
Is this Vision Zero stuff?
This is like Vision Zero, yeah. But this is Safe Streets for All is $1 billion per year, it's a competitive grant. So you have to apply for it. I do not know how it's gonna be administered, if it's gonna be administered, if you're gonna sign a contract with Federal Highway, or if it's gonna go through NDOT, I don't know. If everything goes through NDOT, I don't know. But I think my personal thinking is that they're gonna be just like FTA does a lot of these competitive grants. And I think that Federal Highway is gonna start doing that and just keep the core pots of money and use it for this money and that. And then if you wanna buy electric vehicles for the mayor and the staff, then that goes on their competitive grant. If you wanna buy a fire engine, an electric fire engine, or a propane fire engine, or you wanna get propane, That's under a different grant. So I think a lot of that's gonna be, that's how things are gonna, it seems like they're going that way.
So is it
Timing
pulling
is
out
on any of those?
What's that?
Do we know what timing is on any of this?
Safe Streets for All, NOFA is coming out in May.
So, Safe Streets for All of that
Is the NOFA coming out through NERC, or is it coming out?
This is Federal Highway NOFA.
so is it for complete streets, or like what are the things underneath that?
It involves just about everything. It involves, making, Safe Streets for All is about making pedestrians and vulnerable roadway users, making them more visible.
Okay.
It's about, making it easier, making cars more connected and making them, you know, that automatic stop, whatever. It involves, getting emergency vehicles to the accident and back into the hospital quicker. It's EVP falls under that. It's kind of an HZIP type thing. It has some green infrastructure in there, so it is kind of like complete streets. But it's more for Vision Zero. If you've heard any of that.
A little bit.
So that's kind of along the same lines.
So is there gonna be any sort of, is it gonna be discussed at the, what is it, Surface Transportation Committee?
I don't know. That's not my committee. I don't know if they're gonna discuss it or not. I mentioned it last time.
I just wonder if there's an upcoming, so May of this year, the NOFA, I mean,
Federal Highway has a NOFA.
But now,
for state-
basically, for this,
It's not out now. They keep saying it's gonna be out in May. And it's May, yes. Still May.
Still May.
It is middle of May.
is there gonna be any sort of presentation at a NERC related meeting on this, as far as more information, or?
Probably not. But if you go in and Google Safe Streets for All or SS4A, just type in SS4A under Federal Highway, something like that, you should be able to pull it up. And they'll talk about the NOFA that's coming out in May 2022.
So, just so NERC actually got, we got very little additional funds in Group 2, the last infrastructure bill. And do you feel like maybe this is the route they're going, where they're going to
So I think, yeah, I
put their
think
own programs out separate from?
yeah, so for instance, if you want to get propane dump trucks or garbage trucks, if you wanted propane garbage trucks, you could go through CMAQ, or you can take one of these competitive grants.
And you think there's gonna be another one for like EVs at some point in the future?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be one. They've been talking about EV, ramping that up. But like Safe Streets for All, it's a $1 billion annual, countrywide, nationwide. So, and you're gonna be, so then the cities and municipalities are gonna have to hire, are gonna write their own grants. So it may, keep that in mind, who's ever writing your grants, if they may be pretty busy or, so. If you've got someone that can write good grants, then they may be busy. Marquette Greenway. Mitch and I are tag teaming that as project managers. I'm handling the process and Mitch is kind of handling the negotiations and with the LPAs. Right now we're gonna have 4 different RFPs or RFQs out we'll have 3 different RFPs for design.
How are you?
Lake and Border, or Lake County, Border County, Laporte County. Lake and Border County will probably go design build because of the time frame. It has to be obligated by, 2024. And Laporte County is all in Michigan City. The design's complete, they just need money for right of way. So that might go traditional design bid build. And then we have Michigan, which goes from the state line to, downtown, Buffalo. And they have construction funds, they just need design funds, so that'll probably go traditional design bid.
So we know timeframe wise, will that be an RFP too, the right of way?
That'll probably be an RFP for someone, to do right of way services. Yeah.
Can you get a timeframe on that, just so I can,
I'm hoping to get that out soon. I think I'm hoping to have them under contract by the September commission meeting. So that after the commission approves them, we can give them notice to proceed.
obviously, make sure we can,
Yeah, and then I'm also putting out an RFQ for a project manager engineer and a firm to do design reviews. I gotta work with Federal Highway because Federal Highway has said that this firm will have, the ability to sign off on anything that Federal Highway needs to sign off on. So they're gonna be signing off on the NEPA document, they're gonna be signing off on the plans, any right-of-way acquisitions, so on and so forth. And they'll also be taking over the project management, pretty much. So, that's where that sits. I gotta get that one out as soon as possible, so I've gotta send that RFQ to Federal Highway, because like I said, they're gonna have to be on that also, the committee to approve it.
but the goal of that money that we got, right, is to get it spent and get a trail built.
Yeah, we have to obligate all that money by September 25th, 2024.
Awesome.
So which means we have to have a contractor on board
Okay.
to finish whatever we don't have. So we may just,
So that completes the entire greenway
yeah,
from end to end.
well, it's either, and then there's 5 years to construct it. So by 2030, the whole thing should be paved, off road. Although I think there's gonna be some sections that are gonna be.
Jesse 3.
Last Thursday, I got, new numbers from NDOT. It's basically the IIJA numbers, but they put them in all different pots. So in 2022, we got 50,000 was it? And there were no, 300,000 we got, no. I think it was 50,000 we got for IIJA funds. So in 2023 and 24, 25, and 26, they broke those into the pots.
Okay.
So the money's the same, it's just now that certain amount of it's in now STBG, CMAC, HSIP, TA, and there's a new funding pot called Carbon Reduction Program.
What's the difference between that and CMAC?
That's a good question.
So but you can't use it for construction on CMAC projects. You can use it for PE and right of way. It's very similar, but you can use it for, changing out streetlights to LED. You can use it for, purchasing vehicles to, like, propane or electric vehicles, you can use it for that. You can use it to install, EV charging stations.
When is that money available?
23. It's $50,000 for group 2.
What's available in 25?
52,000. You can also use it for trails. So I imagine that's where we'll probably start using it first.
I wanted to put historic LED street lights on Indian Ave as part of NDOT's.
So we can
35
do
project.
that, you can do that, but you're gonna have to pay more than the 20%, because they're not gonna put in a fancy light.
It's a bit betterment at that point, right?
Yeah, they'll put in a light, but then you,
So they'll put in a standard light, we pay for the upgrade.
right,
Well, I mean,
But
NDOT's
the-
not putting in any lights, I'm saying, like we did, like the bridge projects.
like, but federal highway will put in a standard light.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, they'll put in a standard light, but we would have to pay for the upgrade.
Right, now, to install it, it's the same cost to install an upgraded light as a standard light, so, you know, you're, for whatever the cost difference is for the actual material.
Okay. We'll include it. We'll respond to the no.
So, and I can send out actually, if you go to Federal Highway, there's a CRP, or Carbon Reduction Program. There's a fact sheet in there, that tells you everything that you can, use the money for. Most of it is, quite honestly, most of it is state, you know, how to increase or how to mitigate congestion on state roads. Well, I think a lot of it was for state funding, but some of the things that you can do is, like I mentioned, LED lights, propane vehicles. Like I mentioned.
If you ever need to push the issue of propane, I'm paying $2.25 a gallon for propane right now.
Are you?
Yeah. Me too. Just in case you need to push that issue of how great propane is, yeah. It's
And the
not-
cost difference is, to upgrade from a diesel to a propane is like 20,000. So you probably made that up in the first year.
Yeah.
So do you have any diesel buses? That's our,
We're
you've
strictly
always.
propane. The only,
Yeah.
I have a service truck that uses unleaded, that's it. Everything else in my fleet is propane. And we've been averaging about $2.25 a gallon.
That's good to know.
That's awesome to know, actually.
Yeah. It's well worth it.
Especially for a fleet our size.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like a bigger fleet, it may not be the right fit, but.
Well, Hobart, I think Hobart, the city of Hobart, half of, I think, their service vehicles are propane. They have a tank, and they doubled it on their own, with their own money, but they're getting 7 vehicles this year. 7 dump trucks that are all propane.
Porter County Sheriff, I think they've got a few vehicles, sheriff's vehicles that are running propane too down.
Yeah. So, and actually, Ozinga has a portable propane tank that they will lease to you. It's on a trailer, and it looks just like the propane tank that's at your house, or that's at a house, but it's on wheels. And they pull it up, and it's a, and then they'll put it in your parking lot. And you fill up all your tanks if you need, to get you to the point of, if you're trying to get to the point where you're installing it for your vehicles.
Oh, we have a fueling station.
Yeah, we've got a
We have
tank.
propane
Right.
station.
Yeah,
How many buses do you have?
7.
7?
And I have 5 out on the road at one time, at the most.
But have you talked with, we're doing the transit update, have you talked with them?
I think so.
Don't want propane prices to go up.
Yeah.
Right?
Beth,
Yes.
Beth was immediately responded to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I know who referred me
I may have just kind of fluffed that somebody at NERC said that, I don't really know. It kind of just was said that everyone who's on the transit operated roundtable will be on it, and I just didn't want to say that, so I said someone at NERC recommended you, because I wasn't sure if you were gonna actually be like willing to be part of it or not, so.
That's fine.
And then lastly, railroad grade separation NDOT, I sent, Nick, I sent you an email. Skylar, I think I sent you an email to, last week I got an email from NDOT. They are looking for a list of railroad at-grade crossings that could benefit from being a grade separated crossing,
Okay.
existing. They didn't say, it's all I heard, but to me, it sounds like they might be thinking about bringing back local tracks.
Does it have, it has to be existing?
What's that?
Can it be a replacement?
No, they're looking to
Separate the grades.
Right,
separate the grids.
right, I'm saying,
We would like to use it for north-south corridor.
yeah, we're thinking north-south corridor, if we got rid of another street crossing.
I think we got all of our streets, like, we don't have any more.
So get rid of, even if we did north-south, we couldn't get rid of Boston.
So a statewide list?
Well, they're putting together a statewide list and they're asking, now I have to get it into them by Thursday, so if you have any road at-grade crossings that they either park their trains on or it bottlenecks the whole city, it could either be safety or fluidity.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and if it's safety, just let me know if it's safety or fluidity that the issue is.
Bigger issue.
Orchard is a big
And
issue, but
if you have any crash counts related to it, so it doesn't have to be car, train. It could be a car sitting, waiting for a train and doing a U-turn and hitting a car or taking on a mailbox. That's part of it also. So,
True.
it sounds like they're putting together they're just doing find out what's out there now. But it sounds like they could be putting together a new local tracks program.
The freight line. We have.
Has to be roadway separation, could be
Yeah.
trail separation?
What's that?
Do trails work into that or anything like that?
Stopping where?
Stopping either on Boyd or.
Or just really strictly like
They just.
cars and
Is
trains?
stopping
Well, we could do, you put in US 12,
That's what I was thinking.
and it could be state or it could be local streets.
Stopping or picking up or whatever, but they block
Oh.
Boyd and
So-
Jefferson for minutes at a time.
That would, yeah.
Okay,
If you got a trail, then you got to do a trail.
let me think about it.
So,
Talk to Shannon about that, think about that one.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Did you send that to Mitch,
What's that?
the railroad? So, Garden Street, Ziegler Road, First Street, all of that, right by the county
It's a joint city.
highway department, it's like city and county.
Actually, I talked to Mitch about it this morning. So,
Cause that would be, that they park
They
on
park
that.
there all the time.
They'll park there for like 3 days
Days
straight,
at a time.
and then they're open for
send
an
me an
hour.
email, send me an email.
Which then in turn, Weller is all block 2, I just think that's a harder one to figure
It's a
out.
mess on the west side of the city and it's county too, because it's where the city and county come together and it's also, like you said, adjacent to their county highway facilities.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys just send me an email,
Yeah.
I can follow up on it.
We just got all of our, quiet zone analysis, draft analysis in those intersections, I believe are in it, so we should have decent numbers as far as what's going on, traffic counts, all that.
Orchard's in it?
I believe we included Orchard, because it's
Yeah.
into our crossing. I'll double check that we did.
So you said that was Ziegler, Orchard, Weller?
It's where, it's Orchard, and Ziegler tees into it on the south, and Weller tees into it in the north.
And, sorry, Second Street, not First.
Second, yeah, First already has the underpass.
First is an underpass, Second Street, parallels the railroad tracks. And then, yeah, so
They all zigzag through there.
they leave the intersections downtown open, which we have the overpass and the underpass. And then they park starting at, just past the hospital, and then block Weller and Ziegler Garden. So that whole Second Street corridor, there's no way to get across. You have to come back all the way around. It's a mess. They don't care.
Or go all the way out to Fire West.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We'll get you info.
Yep. Anything else?
We probably need CE, I forgot about that,
Or,
for Chelsea too. So just take a little more out of the paving then. When you make your little numbers magically appear. And then when all this shakes out, later this summer, we'll figure out what we're gonna do with the remaining paving, FY23 paving.
so I've got 1.8 in there. You think that's enough to cover CE and PE? CE
One point in
and,
federal?
no, I got 1.4.
1.4.
Federal.
Well, I mean, cause the number came in at 1.8,
Yeah, you said you
Some
were
value
value engineering
yeah,
some of
we'll
that,
make it work. We'll make it work.
so.
And
And then
then-
when, okay.
And then we can always, again, that's, as long as I have a contract, and then when this lets, if we need to add a little more for CE, that's not the end of the world. We'll just pull it.
You got your contract for CE,
Not yet, but it will.
make sure you get it to,
Yep.
cause you can get it at any time.
Yep,
So it's not like you have to wait until 30 days before letting, I mean, you can get it any time. And then they just program it 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. So, it's very
yeah,
good.
Marcia said that we could actually use our existing Block Mueller contract for, well, not the existing contract, we don't have to do another RFP for it, so.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor by adjournment?
Sure.
Hi.
Our next meeting is August 16th, not the 15th.